we were just wrapping up our discussion on LTCs, and you had some criticisms or some suggestions as to how that could have been better managed. I recall in Quebec and Ontario at one point, the Army was called in to help manage the situation because it just seemed that we could not manage the care or the outbreaks that were happening rampantly. Do you think that was a good move? I mean, they did issue a very scathing report, the Army is detailing some of their concerns. What do you think was the outcome of that?
So to back up just a little bit, we never needed the Army. The Army is the force of last resort. It is when you are past the concept. The emergency management organizations in Quebec, Ontario, Alberta, all across our country, if tasked by the premiers, could have developed within 36 hours a complete plan to humanely and in a happy way quarantine our long-term care homes. There's an example out of France where the staff simply refused to go home. And They self-isolated themselves in the long-term care home for 47 days, and no one in that long-term care home died. That's what I mean. The staff can't go home to their families. If we'd done that, it might have cost us $2 billion. There's just over 2,000 long-term care homes in Canada. If we'd given each one of them $1 million to put that quarantine system in place for the staff, that could have saved 17,000 deaths.
Right.
In the first wave alone, 81% of the deaths in Canada were in long-term care homes. That's unconscionable. Did we need the Army? Yes, because the provinces didn't use the emergency management system and the pre-planned plans they had. If you look at the WHO documentation, if you look at our plans, quarantining a whole society is strongly discouraged.
Right.
So why did it suddenly become the only method of trying to save people when the people who were at risk were very clear in February, people over 60 with multiple comorbidities?
So it sounds,
I don't understand.
No, and we've had medical doctors on this program suggesting that lockdowns are not the solution, curfew's not the solution. But here we see that I'd say pretty much the majority of the country is on some form of lockdown. We have curfew in Quebec, stay-at-home orders in Ontario. If this is not the solution, the data is not showing this, then how is this allowed to continue?
You'll have to ask the politicians and the MOH. They have committed to a campaign of fear starting in March, and there's certainly been many players help them in that role. I was always taught in any emergency, both in the Army and in my time in EMA, that fear is never the way. Confidence. Imagine the different narrative if back in March, our premiers came to the televisions and said, we're increasing surge capacity in our hospitals,
right,
both in facilities and staff. We are taking care of our long-term care homes. That's, folks, why we have to quarantine them, because you understand the people most at risk are these people that live in long-term care homes, our seniors with multiple comorbidities. That's what we're doing. We're making sure they're safe. We're going to make sure we have surge capacity in our hospitals. Here's some general ideas about washing your hands and social distancing, 1 meter, not 2, and then say, we got it as things change. But as well, what they didn't do, they had pre-existing plans. You take that pre-existing plan, you write it specifically for COVID-19, and you issue it through the media to the whole public. The whole public then sees exactly what's going to happen, what the phases are, what the triggers for the phases are, and now they're part of the plan. That's not happened, has it?
Right.
Have you seen a written pandemic plan from any provincial government?
No.
Because they simply are reacting, not planning.
And so that, you're right, that not only do I have a fear of a virus now, I also have fear that my government authorities are not leading me down the right path. I'm getting concerned. So to that point, you did submit like a report, if you will, or some suggestions as to how they can best navigate through all the premiers of Canada. Am I correct?
I have. I've written to my premier starting in April and all 13 premiers and the media starting in May, at least on a monthly basis, very detailed letters with not only what's happening, but what we should be doing, and basically to no response.
My goodness. Vaccines, I mean, we have half a minute before commercial. Vaccines, are they the solution to this?
A vaccine for the current strain of COVID delivered hopefully before October when the third wave hits would be very useful, but only if the vaccine is still good with all the different variants we're seeing. But right now, we need to quarantine our seniors' long-term care homes until all the staff and the residents of those homes are vaccinated.
Okay. Well, we've got to take a break, our last commercial break, but I'm really happy to continue this discussion right when we return. Stick around, please.